We did have some news come out today from the CHGO Sky office that season ticket holders will be seeing an increased price in their tickets. And we actually got this news up. Thank you, Greg. We got the email verbatim. We're so excited of the amount of energy and passion you've been bringing to Wintrust Arena. Pretty much, if you've ever bought tickets or a ticket package from a team, the typical corporate email that you'll see. And we're expecting approval on an increased schedule next year, 44 games with 22 home games. Now, in this, as they also talk about a pay-as-you-play playoff plan, there was an invoice attached where the majority of ticket prices went up 240 to 267%, which means that, exactly. So a $70 ticket that's on Ticketmaster right now for the 200 level, would cost about $165 next year. Is this something you were expecting with the increased eyes on the league? And is this something that you say it's fair for fans to expect going forward?
So remember when I said that when something is growing and is trending upwards, it comes with cons as much as it does pros. Unfortunately, this is a con, but fortunately for the league and the women and the money that needs to go into it, I understand. I don't think we can have it all, right? We can't have bigger arenas without higher price tickets. I don't think we can have bigger TV deals without higher price tickets. I just don't think we can have. I don't think we can have training facilities. See, this is the thing about business that a lot of people don't think about when they start thinking about money. What do you think they're getting money for? There in the league. What do you think the league is getting money for? I would hope it would be to fund more teams. I would hope it would be to keep more roster spots. We say it's the 144 best women in the world. It's really 133 because everybody can't afford to keep 12 people on their roster and still pay the best players what they deserve in the max. So I'm saying if that's what we have to suffer, is that we have to pay more for the tickets to go to these games so that the league can grow the way it can, so that it can connect to younger girls and basketball the way that it can, so it can grow communities the way that it can economically, then I think we have to just say okay to that. So I absolutely expected more things to happen like this and for ticket prices to go up and things like that, because that's business. That's the economy. Once people know that they can make money off it, they're going to make money off of it. They're not going to keep it for sale. Hibachi isn't sold at McDonald's for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So we listen. We got to pay hibachi prices. If we believe in these women, we believe in the league, and we want to make sure that the league stays around and continues to grow. But I'm hoping that all this money goes towards adding for expansion teams. It goes towards keeping players on rosters. It goes towards the next couple of teams setting themselves up in markets where it's successful. I don't want any more teams to set up in a city and then it has to move because the market didn't buy in. That should no longer be happening. And it takes money and it takes buy-in to be able to do that.
I think you hit on all of the boxes to check off in terms of the logistics side and how the business side is crucial to the growth, because you want to profit off of the growth to then be able to facilitate to so many different dynamics that these women desire and they deserve. Mm-hmm. These are like bare minimum things that me and Chris have spoken to that a team like the CHGO Sky just don't have. They don't have their own lockers. They don't have their own arena. They don't have their own practice facilities. All of these things matter, and you can't get to those steps without taking these steps. And it's unfortunate. And I kind of look at it in my coverage of basketball. Both you two know I also cover the Phoenix Suns. So kind of looking at both leagues, this is obviously on the NBA side with the Suns. In 2021, the 2020-21 season, they made a trade for Chris Paul going into that season. Over the course of that season, they won a lot of games, made it to the NBA Finals. Within all of that, ticket prices started spiking up. They made the finals. Those ticket prices went up, and coming out of that season, eventually they outpriced the people that were the common folk within the culture of fandom that they established attending the games. That's an unfortunate shift. It's part of the business part of things, but I'm hoping that for the CHGO Sky, they find ways to continue to integrate community within all of the things that they're doing logistically on the business side, because you don't want to outprice the fans that have been the ones that have been committed to your franchise since you were in Rosemont over a 10 to 15 year window of time. So I just want to make sure and hope that there's a contingency plan, or not even a contingency plan. There's a plan directly in alignment with the ascension of the team and the generation of revenue to also continue to include all spectrums on the economic scale of Chicago, and that it's not just catering to one specific demographic or one specific means of money being generated from a particular family or a particular race, even for that matter, if you want to take it that far. So I just want to make sure it's continuing to be all inclusive with it all.
I think that's a great point to make. And I think that there are several teams and markets in the league who may not deal with the same issue. You know, a Phoenix may not deal with the same issue in terms of their demographic and who's attending and money. And that's not to say that, like, hey, poor people are everywhere. Yes, but they just not mind to be dealing with that with those that attend their games. So I think that's a fair issue that you make. And like, this is why I hope that the people in the league that are making decisions have reflected and been in some of these positions where they would see and understand. You know, like, that's why it's important that the athletes are there, because the athletes know. Everyone has had the teammate where, hey, we you know, she comes with us, right? She can't afford to do on her own. No, we take care of her. Everyone has had that athlete. Like, that's ingrained in terms of the game that we play, you know, and so in sports and culture. So I think that's a great point to make. I think it's something that should be raised, you know, and talked about, because every market in terms of who they have coming to the games does not necessarily fit that. But at the same time, there's good and bad on both sides. But I don't think that the W will allow the prices to get to a level where it starts to be exclusive to some, because that would go against the DNA of the W is inclusive to all. That's what the league is known as. So I highly doubt that will happen. But I think that's a valid point to raise.
I certainly hope so, Isis, because you're right. I've talked about for a while, as we're going to get you out of here in a moment. If I wake up on any given day in Chicago and I think to myself, I want to go see a sporting event, the NFL was always out. You can't just wake up and say you're going to go to a Bears game. Bulls games after Rose came in, really over the last 20, 25 years, I could never say, okay, I had to have a good job before I had to said I could go to a Bulls game. And it was always 300 level tickets. With the White Sox or even the Cubs and the Sky, I always felt if I wanted to get a ticket, I could get a ticket. Even when the White Sox were good, maybe a little bit less so when the Cubs were in their World Series era, I could still say, I want to go to a baseball game today. I can go to a baseball game. With the Sky, I know my partner got tickets for Game 4 of the 21 finals the day of. She sat upstairs, but she was able to get those tickets for $25, $30. Now,
wow.
For the Aces, for the Mercury coming in, those are $80 tickets plus Ticketmaster fees. There's always resales available. They're putting out to other resellers, and so that's what I worry about.
We all silly like the mayor.